Alright, it's Henry, and this is part 2 of my review of the Master Grade Gundam Sandrock version EW. Now on to the weapons. I guess we'll start with the heat shortails first, since they're pretty much the most important weapon. You do get 2 of them, and they are quite large. Like I said earlier, they come with 2 different blades, the silver versions and clear red versions. The handle can go up and down. That's pretty much for storage mode and for the cross crusher. You'll see that in a minute. And if you pay attention to the handle, it's got a hole that just goes straight through the handle. That's going to accommodate that peg and the hand. And despite their large size, Sandrock has absolutely no problem holding them whatsoever. And I don't even find that he has any problems with the peg connections in the hands. It's a very solid connection. I mean, swing the arm back and forth, he's pretty much not going to drop them, so they're very, very secure. And to switch out the blades on these things, all you got to do is grab hold of them, pull them out, and they just slide out like so. So you can see they got some little connectors in there. And then take the clear red version. You have to line it up in that little groove, and then just slide it in place. You'll hear it click, and you can have the clear red heated up versions. And for those of you wondering about posability, I think the days of including extra torsos for pulling off good poses are behind us. And for storage mode, basically what we're going to do is flip the handles on the heat shortails around to that side, and then you'll see a little notch on the back of the backpack there. They'll slide in there, then we'll flip that up, and just do the same thing on the other side. And there we go. They're going to be stored on the backpack like so. So make sure you've got plenty of room on your display shelf, because he's going to take up quite a bit in the back. Now Sandrock also has a shield, which looks very nice in my opinion. Kind of resembles a snake head almost. Anyway, it's got one moving part, well, actually more than one moving part, but the claws on the front, teeth claws or whatever you want to call them, can slide out and then go up and down, and they'll slide back in. And you've got a mount on here, which I'll show you in a minute, and then you've got these little gears up here which move back and forth for the cross crusher. Now the mount for the shield is interesting. It almost kind of looks like a Tetris block, but the way they have it is you can connect it to the shield in different ways to have different connections. For example, the way I had it originally, like this, is just to connect it to the arm like so. And then you can take that out and connect it on like this, and what it does is it raises the shield off the arm a bit, so that way you can have the shortails mounted to the shield for the cross crusher. So I thought that was a pretty nice way of doing the shield connection. But he's got a hole on both arms, and the connection seems to be pretty secure, so I don't think you're really going to have any problems with it staying on, although you might want to watch out for this little flap on the shoulder armor. It tends to get in the way sometimes. And to connect the shortails to the shield, you're going to take them, and you're going to take this side of the shortail and connect it to the top of this thingy right here. There's a little slot where it just fits in. Do that on both sides, and there you go. That's all there is to it. And like I said, there's a little gear right there that moves back and forth, so they both move simultaneously, and they can go in about that far, where they just barely crisscross, and then they can move out about that far. And despite its large size, I don't find that Sandrock really has any weight issues holding it. The shoulder and elbow joints both seem to hold it up just fine. The only reason it's not any higher is because the shoulder armor won't let it go higher, but like if you bring it up to here, I don't really see that he has any weight issues. I mean, you shake him and it's still not coming down, so good job on Bandai making those joints sturdy enough. And last but not least, we have the beam submachine gun, and it's relatively simple. It's only like 5 pieces. You've got this little bit of articulation right here where the stock can rotate all the way back. And despite being simple, it is pretty nicely detailed. The handle can move right there, so it can fold up for storage. Got a little camera right there, it's supposed to be green, but obviously I haven't painted it yet. And just like the Heat Shore Tails, it's got a little groove right there in the handle, and it'll use the same weapon hand that the Heat Shore Tails used. And Sandrock is obviously going to be able to hold it just fine, although if you flip this thing out, it's really a little bit too big to really be functional, so you're probably just going to be leaving that down when you have it displayed. And you can fold up the beam submachine gun for storage. And it's got a small little peg right here on the side. There's actually 3 places where you can store it. You've got slots on the shield. You can store it on either side of the shield, so that's 2. And also, you've got a slot on the back skirt, and you can store it on the back like so. And the action base connector that comes with the kit is very, very tight, so you're not going to worry about this guy falling at all. Shake him, he is not going anywhere. Very secure action base connector. And after all this time watching the review of the unpainted kit, it's finally time for the big reveal and show off the painted version. It took a bit longer than I would have liked it to paint, but that was just because of time constraints and adverse weather conditions. But anyway, here is the painted and completed Gundam Sandrock. As you can see, I went with pretty much the standard color scheme. Just did a little bit of pre-shading and highlighting, just like I did on my Master Grade Shenlong and Death Scythe Hell and Epion, just to make them all match. And I used all of the decals that came with the kit, or at least the ones that were in the instructions. There were a few left over on the decal sheet. And overall, I think it turned out pretty nice. As far as colors go, I did change up these 2 shades of gray a little bit. I used pretty much the same bluish gray that Bandai used for the torso and the wrists and the feet. I just made it a little bit darker. I did kind of like that bluish look, so I wanted to keep that. And then for the skirt armor and the backpack, the gray they used almost had kind of a purplish look to it. And I just used a straight neutral gray for that. Because, I don't know, something about that purplish gray was kind of bothering me. It was almost like the same gray they used on Death Scythe Hell EW. Anyway, this is Sandrock's body. I did use the XXXG01SR decal on his shoulder. And I also used the large one going across the shield diagonally here. That's about the only place on the kit it would fit anyway. So anyway, here's the shield. As you can see, I painted the cameras on the shield with clear red, so they turned out pretty nice. Also, I did a little bit of painting on the underside of the shield, painted that gray, just so the whole bottom of the shield wouldn't be yellow, bright yellow like the rest of the edge. Also did the eyes in clear green, although you can't really tell. Although you can see a little bit of that light piping feature for the forehead camera. That's always a nice touch. I really, really hope Bandai continues doing that with their Master Grades. Anyway, for the beam submachine gun, nothing really spectacular about it. Just painted it gray, did a little bit of highlighting. The Heat Shore Tails, on the other hand, I did something that I haven't done before. Not really anything very fancy, though. For the normal blades, I did a little bit of metallic shading, which is something I've been wanting to try, but I haven't really had an opportunity to do yet. I did a base coat of silver, and then did a little bit of shading along this panel line and along the front edge with gunmetal. And I think it actually turned out pretty nice. So that's for the normal ones. And then, the clear Heat Shore Tail blades were originally molded in clear red, as you saw earlier in the review. But to me, heated up metal shouldn't be clear red, so I painted them fluorescent orange and then lightened that up with some fluorescent yellow and a little bit of white and did a little bit of highlighting in the center there. So these are the heated up versions. However, when you actually get them into the handles of the Heat Shore Tails, they look really, really nice, I think. And turn this off, put a black light on them. They don't glow quite as bright as I thought they were going to, but they do still have kind of a fluorescent glow to them under the black light. Not nearly as much as Unicorn Gundam Psycho Frame though. One thing I actually forgot to mention earlier in the review was that you can connect the heat shore tails end to end, similar to the way you did on 00 Riser. They just have two little tabs on the ends of the handles, and they connect together like so. And you just use the same little groove in the handle, fit into the hand, and just peg it in like so. And again, he's going to have a bit of problems finding space to use it. So I think you're going to want to use this on an action base, to be perfectly honest, because if he's on the ground, he's not going to be able to use it very well. So you might want to use an action base if you're going to do the double heat shore tail. Although I don't really notice any weight issues, so that's a good thing. Now before we wrap this review up, there are a couple of comparisons I want to do. First, I'm going to compare the Master Grade Sandrock EW to my recently completed Sandrock TV version. So right here you get a nice comparison between the TV version and the Endless Waltz version of the same exact mobile suit. So basically you got Okawara's design and Kotoki's design. Now, one last thing I want to compare is really not so much a comparison of the mobile suits, but a comparison of the model kits and the paint jobs on them. Here is the B Club conversion kit for Sandrock Verka that I painted, I think, back in like 2009, and compared to the Master Grade. It's the same exact mobile suit, but this is a conversion kit for the old 1:100 scale high grade, and as you can tell, the paint job on it is subpar, at least compared to the stuff that I'm doing nowadays. Stylistically, it's even a bit different. The proportions are quite a bit better, actually, on the Master Grade. The shoulder armor is very, very large, as you can see on this older kit. And look how flat the shield is, and how not flat the shield is on the Master Grade. The Master Grade's shield is very domed. It's almost like a half dome there, whereas the old high-grade conversion kit's shield is very, very flat. And most of the details are the same, it's just proportions and obviously the paint job on this one that are the main differences. And I just think this, the words night and day come to mind when I look at these two kits together. So anyway, I guess that about does it for comparisons. Now let's wrap things up. So that about does it for my review of the Master Grade Gundam Sandrock version EW. And to be honest, I really can't find a lot to complain about with this kit. It's just really, really well made, as all of these Endless Waltz Master Grades have been. And really, most of Bandai's Master Grades this year have been really, really well done. Just to find something to complain about, a minor nitpick would be some of the decals are pretty hard to apply. Particularly these ones on the top of the heat shore tails, just simply because of their location and the fact that they're dry transfers. Some of the other dry transfers were a little tricky as well, but the clear stickers were no problem. But other than that, I really can't find anything to complain about. It's got good posability, it's got great accessories, and use of the accessories combining together. And the fact that they threw this in, even though it wasn't included with the original design, the beam submachine gun, two different versions of the heat shore tail blades, and on top of that, just a really nice representation of the mobile suit in model kit form. And I think Bandai just knocked it out of the park with this one. Probably one of the best out of the EW Master Grade so far. So, I've pretty much bragged on this kit and told you how good it is, and about as much as I can. I can't think of anything else that I haven't said so far. And it's the same price as all the other EW Master Grades, 3,800 yen, well, with the, I think Wing Gundam Verka's 3,500 yen, but anyway, the point is it's reasonably priced. It's a really good master grade with good accessories, lots of decals, and it just looks really nice. And even unpainted is going to look nice on your display shelf just because of the great color separation. Because the only masking I had to do on this kit was the underside of the shield, and even that was kind of optional. So I guess that about does it for this review, and with that, I'll see you guys next time. By the way, anybody who can point out the mistake I made on this kit gets a gold star. I'll give you a hint. It's right in front of you.